Oh, he does have it. Okay.
All right, as soon as they bring clients out, unless there's someone who has somebody on bond.
I do.
All right, who's your person on bond, counsel?
Joe Serta.
Right. All right. Mr. Serta, come up. All right, so on this case, I'm not inclined to have us wait for whatever is going to happen in another county. So I don't know if there is an agreement you all have or no, or you all want a jury trial.
Well, we have an offer, Your Honor, and my client wants to consider it, but it was relayed today. And we do have a little bit, and then he's going in on the 29th. I think it's the certainty of the fact that he's going in on the 29th and then the newness of this case is sort of in conflict.
I don't know if that was, Judge, I was thinking if we do come to an agreement, maybe he could, if he has some time to consider it, because what date is it?
The 29th. If you pled and then sentencing afterwards, I don't know if
I don't know if that's something you want to entertain.
Well, I mean, it depends on what your agreement is. If he wants to enter a plea today, of course, I'll entertain it.
and
Or
Your Honor,
if he
we're
wants,
working-
he can come back on the 18th. That's the latest. That's Monday.
And if we weren't able to reach an agreement, Your Honor, what would
Oh, it would end up being set for trial.
and then you would just order him back from SATF
Mhm.
for trial setting?
And honestly, this is the whole thing. I don't know how they would do it in other counties, but I know here in Bexar County, if you have open cases that's pending, they don't allow you to transfer to any inpatient treatment. So maybe they do it differently in counties, but here, I know that SATF and other places won't accept you if you have open pending cases.
An open pending would have to be sentenced also, I would assume.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting.
Mm.
And I don't practice out there, but somebody in our office does, and so maybe we'll make some calls. Your Honor, this time, I guess I would ask that we come back to 18th,
Okay.
just so that we can figure those answers out.
All right. All right, we'll come back on December 18th, Norma, on Mr. Serta. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Oh, and once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
Thank you.
All right. Are the parties here on Jose Sanchez? All right, this is regarding the video. What have we discovered?
Your Honor, so as the court recalls, last time the CEO of Barcom was here,
Yes.
said he would get the information. I hadn't heard from him all week until this morning, and I haven't heard from him, I'm sorry, at all. And neither is the state. So I made a phone call before court this morning to see what's up, if he was going to appear. He's unavailable, according to his office manager, Elisa Martinez, who I spoke with this morning. She said her understanding was that he needed more time. And my problem is I believe should have communicated that to either myself, the state, or the court.
Mhm.
I'll just remind the court that this is month 7 that we've been trying to get a very.
I know.
Okay.
I'm aware, my mind's a steel trap, and I'm aware of what he said. He said that if he was able to get the information, he would let us know that he received the information. If he could not receive the information, he would let us know. And it appears that he has not adequately communicated.
No, Your Honor, and I did call them, and all the she said was he needed more time. She didn't tell me why, what progress he'd made, or how much time that he needed. And it leaves us in kind of limbo, in my opinion. I was going to suggest, I know the court's here next week, is that we reset this for Monday, and I don't have him, or I don't know what remedy to.
No. Have him subpoenaed here for Monday.
Okay, now I don't know if I can get a subpoena to him in time, but I believe he's still under subpoena, Your Honor.
Well, if you pick up the phone and call them and tell them that he needs to be here on Monday
Judge.
and he's under subpoena.
I will do that, Judge. Okay, I think that's the best remedy. And Your Honor, we also have one other brief issue I want to bring up to the court. And the court gave us permission last time that you'd be open to hearing his motion on bond. Mr. Sanchez, I did actually file this motion back in August, Your Honor. The only reason I didn't approach the court prior to this is because there was a blue warrant. That has been resolved. And so this motion to set bond is before you'd ask you to consider setting a bond for Mr. Sanchez. I will say that I did discuss this with him, and I can put him under oath if the court needs it, but he is indigent, obviously. He's spoken to his mother about finances. If the court were to set a bond at $10,000, he could post that bond. I know he's expressed an interest in hiring private counsel. In light of the fact that and this is not a speedy trial motion, and I'm not really trying to say that the court is obligated to do anything because of this, but I just want to remind the court what the court already knows is that for the last 7 months, he has sat in jail waiting for an answer to a question, which I've been practicing almost 30 years, Judge, and the answer to this question, I could go to Circle K on a robbery and ask the manager for these sort of answers and get them in a week. And so I'd ask the court, if the court feels that's a low bond, to consider what's been going on in light of that.
Ah,
I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
so we have an update on the video issue.
It does appear to answer most of the questions, Your Honor.
All right, so we can go on the record. We're going to go on the record in 2022 CR 10642, State of Texas versus Jose Sanchez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Hank Wilkes for the state, Your Honor.
defense?
Eric Baker for the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, and are you Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we were discussing an issue with regards to this video, and it appears that the witness who was here at the last setting has emailed information about the video and whether or not it even exists, the video audio. So have both parties had a chance to review the email, state
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so any objections to the court reviewing that?
No, not at all, Judge.
Right, so from the court's review of the email, it appears that the video or audio is no longer in existence as it is overwritten every 28 days. And they're saying that the offense date is alleged to be March 28, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the request for the audio or video was June 22nd, 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Sanchez, the fact that the request date from your attorney was June 22nd, 2023, that is not because your attorney was asleep at the wheel or anything of that nature. It's your attorney can only make requests for certain things when they are actually your attorney. So if he was not your attorney within that 28 days. There's nothing he could have done to preserve the video or audio. You understand?
He was assigned on March 4 or April 4th, I think. April 4th, 2022.
Okay.
According to the event log display.
Well, Your Honor, I mean, that I probably didn't even review his file, get discovery, you know, and so. I don't think the request date is important, Judge, but the obligation to turn over discovery, such as statements of defendant, is not really triggered by a defense request.
Mhm.
The defense request was triggered when it was brought to my attention that the discovery the state turned over did not include that, which is part of their obligation. In other words, I shouldn't have to request it. It's their obligation to provide that along with the other body cam videos, which they did. The
Mhm.
reason I requested is because after reviewing all that and talking to my client, he brought up to me, not until June 2023, that there may be other video.
Mhm.
So I immediately submitted a request informally to Mr. Wilkins.
All right. So with regards to the destruction or the purge, as they wanted me to refer to the purge of the audio video, you can file whatever motions you deem necessary and the court will hear that.
Of course, Judge.
Right. But I'm assuming you all are going to request a jury trial. Is that correct?
Your Honor, can I confer with my client before we come back
Yes.
on that issue and then on his bond issue? Because I want to make sure that's what he wants to do.
All right.
because there's an offer.
If you all will confer, and I'll take up another matter and then we'll come back.
Judge, thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Jason Guerra. And who is here for the interpreter? Oh, it's Guerra?
No, not my client.
Oh, just one second. Good morning. I mean, good afternoon. So who needs the interpreter and are y'all ready for the interpreter?
It's Monica Guerrero.
Okay. All right. Just give us a moment and we'll take that up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Court is calling 2023 CR 9821A, State of Texas versus Jason Jesus Guerra. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins with the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Good afternoon, Judge. My name is Dirk Ashball. I represent Jason Ghetto. We're ready.
Are you Jason Guerra?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Guerra, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading? I'm sorry. Y'all had enough time to confer?
It was somebody else, Judge, and they're not here, but he's.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to show you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, it appears that you're proceeding on the indictment as presented. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Guerra, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of theft, 2,500 to 30,000? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility
Yes,
and
ma'am.
up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Guerra, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine to be probated. State recommends deferred adjudication. This will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 714-096. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 60 hours of community service restitution, and CATs 1 and 2. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contents.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Any-
No objection.
Mr. Guerra, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, I would like to let the court know that Mr. Guerra looks a lot better than he did the first time I met him in jail a few months ago. Since then, the judge, he's gone through a lifetime recovery program for about a month and a half. Completed a few other classes as part of that. He has definitely, I think, changed his mindset and is in front of you today, I think, with a positive attitude and kind of ready to make the most of this opportunity, Judge. I think he's sincere in that. And I have the certificates if the court would like to see, but
Yes.
he is ready, Judge, I think, to take maybe this next step. He has had some problems with cash right now. He's working. He is got a potential to pick up another job, a little bit better job with more money. Depending on what happens here, Judge, with this case. And he has another place to live. He's living with his, I think, his fiance, right? So his life is kind of moving to an upward trajectory, Judge, and I think this is a great opportunity for him to continue that. There's another opportunity for him to continue that. And that's just what I wanted to let the court know.
All right. Do you have employment?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
Painting.
And your fiance, does she have any children?
No, ma'am.
Is she in recovery?
No, ma'am. She don't do drugs.
So how did you two meet?
In school. We were boyfriend and girlfriend in middle school.
All right. So how did you contact her?
I met her through her cousin. I found her through her cousin again.
So why were you searching for her?
I wasn't searching for her. Her cousin ended up at my house party at a party I was throwing, and I asked for her. And
All
we've been
right.
together.
So when was this house party? Was this before or after
2007.
this?
2007.
Okay. And who is the person you were with during this theft? Are you still seeing them?
No, ma'am. I have no contact with that, sir. With that man.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you. All right. 4 years deferred adjudication, $500 fine probated. This will be concurrent with 714-096, CATs 1 and 2, 100 hours of community service restitution, A TAP evaluation out of custody, follow recommendations of TAP. We'll start with intensive outpatient treatment if they're recommending treatment. There's to be no contact with Michael James Martinez. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be
Clean
for everything?
for everything, ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. There's to be random UAs, random regular UAs, field visits, one time per month for 3 months. Then at probation's discretion. And what are you doing to maintain your sobriety?
I'm currently going to a outpatient. I have an appointment on December 27th. Due to lifetime recovery, I asked my counselor if she could enroll me in that. So that's the earliest appointment I could get. And I'm going to a counselor for Central Health, Central Services today. And what it is my counselor, we talk about my situations in life, what I'm doing to cope with my abilities of drugs, and what I'm just doing in my life in reality, what I'm just everything going on in my life. And
All right. And this therapy is with who?
CHCS.
Okay.
It was getting through on pretrial.
Okay. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in lifetime recovery because it did help me and it made me realize my decisions and choices I was making were wrong and there's a better life without drugs.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. All right. And then we're going to have no contact with Target. And that's the Target that is located at 8223 State Highway 151. And he's to continue with therapy with Lifetime Recovery and Counseling with Center for Healthcare Services. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And did I mention cats 1 and 2?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Mary.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. Happy Festivus. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy holidays.
Thanks. Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, Norma, and as soon as Suzanne is ready, we'll go on that. And then who's here with the interpreter?
Yes, and the paperwork.
All right, thank you.
And, then for me to text them, get me ready.
Okay, all right.
I'm here, we say, conflict side.
Oh, okay. All right, so we are going to do Zavala.
I'll be covering that for Joanne de Hoyos.
And is this an application? Yes. And is your client a citizen?
No.
Okay.
He did have an immigration attorney, if I could put a few things on the record.
All right, I will allow that. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 8359, State of Texas versus Jose Diego. How do you pronounce that name? Amicus Amescus Zavala. Thank you. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
The attorney of record is Joanne de Hoyos. Joseph states who's standing in. And would you give this judge permission for me to do this plea in place of Mr. Hoyos?
Yes.
All right, we have an interpreter here. If you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Arlene Abrams, license number 2081.
All right. Mr. Amesquez, all of the documents I'm going to review with you are in English. Were those reviewed with you in Spanish?
See,
Yes,
And it's the court's understanding that Attorney Monica Guerrero went over the paperwork with him. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And she's fluent in Spanish?
She is.
All right. Counsel, have you received all of the discovery in this case, and was that reviewed with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Amesquez Zavala, did you review and sign the document entitled Application for Community Supervision? With your attorney, did you understand it?
yes,
Did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment? With your attorney, did you understand it?
see,
yes,
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Amesquez Zavala, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
see,
yes,
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated, third or more? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
see,
yes,
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
see,
yes,
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial? A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent.
see,
yes,
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
see,
yes,
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
see,
yes,
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent or was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Zavala, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
no,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
no,
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
yes,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
no,
Defense?
Your Honor, our client is not a U.S. citizen as stated. He was able to retain the services of an immigration attorney. That attorney is named Mr. Eric Bernal. We had received a plea offer. We put a detailed description, email terms of the plea offer. Mr. Hoyos had spoke with him over the phone multiple times. There's numerous emails back and forth. Mr. Bernal recommended the plea offer that this particular one was actually favored, that Mr. Bernal preferred it. He will be deported. He understands that, that there's no promise that he could stay here legally. He does wish to have probation. We had discussed with him that technically a felony conviction is deportable by itself. But knowing this, he still wishes to go forward with the plea, and we have permission from his immigration attorney to follow this deal.
All right. Mr. Zavala, did you have ample opportunity to discuss with your immigration attorney the impact this plea bargain agreement would have on your immigration status?
Yes,
Did your counsel advise you of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in this cause number and its impact on your immigration status?
yes,
Did your attorney discuss with you possible consequences such as deportation, the denial of naturalization, or reentry into the United States by entering into a plea in this case?
yes,
And do you understand the consequences of entering in a plea in this case and the impact it will have on your immigration status?
Yes.
yes,
Counsel, do you believe your client understands the impact this plea will have on his immigration status?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Mr. Zavala, did you review the plea bargain agreement with the state? Did you with your attorney, and did you understand it?
yes,
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 7 years in the prison. There's a $500 fine. The state recommends community supervision. There is the VIP panel, ignition interlock for half the term, and a 2-year driver's license suspension. Did you understand that to be the plea?
yes,
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places, Mr. Zavala?
yes,
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
yes,
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Did you review outside the agreement? The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 7 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours community service restitution, 10 days house arrest in lieu of 10 days in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
yes,
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
no contest.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulation with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes,
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
yes,
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
yes,
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we waive PSI.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We ask that you follow the recommendation.
All right. Court will sentence you to 7 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 7 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. Victim Impact Panel, DWI Intervention, DWI Education, Ignition Interlock for half the term. I'm sorry, I started talking fast. 2 years driver's license suspension, 10 days in the Bexar County Jail as a condition of probation, 120 hours of community service restitution, TAP evaluation in custody, follow recs, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs. If deported, no illegal reentry into the United States. If he's not deported, then I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. And then it will be at probation's discretion. Proof of employment within 30 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No.
All right. And do a gang evaluation probation. All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, who is here on Jose Sanchez? Are you all ready?
I think we're still referring on that.
Okay. All right, just let me know when you're all ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe excuse your honor.
Yes, thank you so much.
Are you ready for Ms. Kramer?
Yes, she can zoom in. Are you all finished conferring on Sanchez or no?
No, we're finished, Judge.
Okay, yes, she can zoom in. All right, so where are we on this? Are we coming back on the 18th?
I'm sure. I wonder if it's all weird.
So are we coming back on the 18th?
No, Judge, I don't think we need to do that. It was just for the discovery.
Mhm.
I think he's rejected all offers and we just need to set for jury trial, but I would like to be heard on his bond.
All right, so Norma, how long do you expect the jury trial to last?
A day, Judge.
It is a short, 2 minutes.
All right, Norma, if I can get a jury trial date, it'll be 1 day. So perhaps we can pick a jury in the morning and then in the afternoon, finish up.
I think I'd best make 2 judge days, but it'll be short.
We could probably send it to Impact,
February 12th.
right? February 12th.
Judge, and can we hear his get a ruling on his motion to set bond?
Sure.
So, Your Honor, there's no bond set.
Just 1 second. Yeah. Let me get this written down. All right. Is there going to be any witnesses?
No, just my client if the court isn't, if it's necessary.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would just proceed by offer of proof unless the court wants my client under oath for any of the things I'm about to assert, Judge.
All right. Court is calling 2022 CR 10642, State of Texas. Well, let me ask you this. Have you conferred with the state on the bond and you all can't agree?
I did confer. I don't know if I got a disagreement necessarily. I just told them what I was going to ask for, so I don't know.
All right. Do you all want to confer to see if you all have an agreement on the bond? I still need to have a hearing on it, but if you all have an agreement.
I think we're probably gonna want you to set it, Judge.
Okay. All right. State of Texas versus Jose Sanchez. Could I have parties re-announced for the record for the state
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
defense?
Eric Baker for Mr. Sanchez, Judge. Please.
All right. And are you Jose Sanchez?
That's fine.
All right, there's been a request for a bond reduction hearing. Is that correct, counsel?
Actually, Judge, the motion to set a bond. there's
Motion
no-
to set a bond?
Yeah,
No
there's
bond
no-
has been set?
No bond has been set, Your Honor.
All right. So are there any witnesses?
Your Honor, I'll call my client, but just, I want to summarize for the court, what we're going to be asking for and why. I've discussed with my client his finances and, his ability to post bond. He is indigent. He has local ties to the community. He's lived here all his life. He was employed when he was arrested. He has that employment still available for him if he gets out. If the court sets a bond in the amount of $10,000.
Sorry, Diana.
My client's also being very helpful with the court and it's.
Oh, I'm gonna make note of that for the record, that he's helpful. Okay, you can continue.
And so we're asking to set a bond in the amount of $10,000 if the court's so inclined, and if not, as low as possible, if it sets it above $10,000. And I can put my, that's just an offer of proof. If the court wants me, I can put my client under oath and ask him those questions to establish those things if the court finds it necessary.
I'm sorry.
To establish those facts if the court finds it necessary. Otherwise, that's my offer of proof.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to, I've showed this to defense, but this is the defendant's criminal history. I'd like to offer that as Stacy's to the morning.
There's no objection.
Oh,
And you can see from the criminal history judge and from the indictment that the defendant is a habitual offender judge. So the state does believe that based on his history, based on the facts of the case, that $10,000 is too low of a bond, Your Honor. He is looking at, because of his status as a habitual offender, he's looking at 15 years, Judge. We're looking for a higher bond amount than what's been requested by defense. We are asking that if you were to grant a bond in this case, or when you grant a bond in this case, we're asking for a full house arrest GPS. The facts in this case are that the defendant is driving around without he knows he's not supposed to have a firearm, he's got a gun in the car, Judge. So in order to protect the community, we ask you to take these, or take the GPS as a step to protect the community.
Can I respond? briefly
Yes.
to number one, Your Honor? It was a felon in possession. It's not been established that he knew the firearm was there. That'll be established at trial. It wasn't a violent offense per se. Number two, Judge, he actually was out on bond on this case for almost a year. And then his bond's been dropped him because of the parole issue. So he's demonstrated he's not a flight risk.
so here's the court's question. Does he not have a bond because the bondsman issued a affidavit to surrender surety? Is that the reason?
Yes, Your Honor.
So before the bondsman did that, what was his bond set at?
He tells me 20,000. I haven't independently verified.
All right.
2022 CR 10642. Your Honor, would ask the court to consider that although it was at 20, based on the 7 months he's been waiting for the state to answer a very simple question that it should have had the answer to in 1 week. I'd like the court to consider that in light of the fact that he may not be able to make a $20,000 bond, and in light of the fact that he's expressed a desire to get out so he can work, so he can afford his own attorney. He would like to hire an attorney. And secondarily, if the court is going to do GPS, I would request that the court allow him to work on that GPS monitor, because that's the main reason he wants to get out, so he can hire private counsel, and he'll need to do that quickly with a trial date in mid-February.
All right.
Judge, respectfully, can I respond to that?
Sure.
So the defendant claims he was on his way home from work when he had the gun. So that's why we're asking the GPS, Judge. It seems like he uses the gun for work sometimes. So if you are inclined to grant a bond, we ask for full house arrest GPS. If it is going to be partial, where he's allowed to go to work, we'd ask for set times, Judge. So it's not just like, oh yeah.
We'd have no objection to that. He could provide proof.
All right. So everybody is whispering a little bit, which makes it difficult for the court reporter. So people are starting with their voice here and then it immediately drops. So if everybody could keep their voice level for the court reporter, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's try to make her job as easy as possible.
And it's the state's
See,
fault.
Dinah?
I was just bringing it to his level.
Yeah. But Dinah, I'm always thinking of you. All right, so I have a question for you, sir. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record, and keep your voice up.
Alfredo Sanchez Jr.
All right. So, have you ever used any type of drugs before?
Yes, ma'am.
And what would that be?
Methamphetamine.
All right, when's the methamphetamine, marijuana, anything else? All right, before you were taken in custody, when's the last time you used a drug?
7 years. I was locked up for 5. So I got out and I was out on for about a year and a half.
All right, have you ever had treatment for those issues before?
Have I ever treatment?
Yes.
No, I've never been to a rehab. No, ma'am.
Have you ever had any mental health issues?
Yes, I've been diagnosed with manic depression and drug-induced schizophrenia, and then I forget what the other one was.
All right, have you seen any type of doctors? Have you seen a psychiatrist or had a therapist?
The only thing I've done is here. I've done recovery and motion, and in the world, I haven't done anything. I've never been offered that, so never done it.
All right. So the clerk has informed me that his bond before the bondsman got off his bond was $10,000. So unless there's some other reason for his bond being revoked, like for example, if he didn't show up for the court or something of that nature, I don't see why his bond shouldn't still be the $10,000. And that's based upon the fact that there was another judge who found that $10,000 was appropriate and that's what they set it for. I would consider increasing his bond if there was a reason other than the bondsman joining an affidavit to surrender surety. But so I'm going to keep the bond at $10,000. I am going to order partial GPS. And that's for employment only. And you'll need to provide, you know, your employment address. You need to provide what the hours you're working. You understand?
So I'm a member of the local 66 Iron Workers Union.
Mhm.
So I show up there to the shop at 7 o'clock or by 7.
You'll need to give that to them.
Yeah, I'll get an itinerary.
And then I'm going to order outpatient treatment as a condition of probation. I'm sorry, as a condition of bond. I'm going to ask that the fees be waived. And I'm going to also order mental health treatment. And that will be waived fees on that. Although I don't think they have fees for that, but I'll just put that in there. All right. And I want you to know the reason why I ask the questions I ask, because legally we're supposed to do that. So I can figure out what conditions to give you so that you'll be successful when you're on bond. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If there is something else that comes up where you feel you need more help with something, be it drug treatment or mental health treatment, let them know. If you feel like they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. All right, and we'll do random UAs.
My family already went and spoke to someone at Lifetime Recovery.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask that the fees be waived, and if it's Lifetime Recovery that you can get into Lifetime Recovery, just have your attorney let the court know, and I can change these conditions to include Lifetime Recovery.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so Norma, if you can give him a reset form for his case. And if you'll give this to the court reporter. Is there anything else from either side?
No, thank you so much, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. And he needs his reset form. And also counsel, you need to get with him because the conditions I set is going to be through pretrial services most likely.
Okay.
All right, Brandley. Sure. Oh, yes. Just 1 second. Let me take care of it.
Sasha. 2022 CR 1064.
And Ms. Kramer, just give us 2 minutes.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, and just 1 moment with this. Ms. Ochoa,
Yes.
I don't know if this is your case or if it's criminal trial division. Do you all have any objections with that? If it's your case?
Judge, my original plea bargain was with Zap.
Oh, just 1 second. This is just
Oh,
1
I'm
second,
sorry,
Ms. Kramer. This is a different matter.
Judge, we wouldn't have any problem with it if it's ours.
Okay,
I don't recognize it. No.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Donna, just let me know when. All right, Ms. Kramer, are you ready?
I am, Judge.
All right. And before we go on the record, Mr. Brandley, did you have a chance to review the report?
Yes.
Do you see anything in there that's incorrect?
No, no.
Okay. All right, court is going to call 2022 CR 5004 State of Texas versus Isaac Brandley. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Anna Ochoa Nelson.
Defense?
Suzanne Kramer.
And are you Miss Brandley?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brandley. Sorry about that. Your attorney is appearing by video. Any objection from the state?
No, Judge.
Mr. Brandley, do you have any objection to your attorney appearing by video? All right. All right, you entered a plea on November 7th of no contest. The court ordered a PSI and a TAP evaluation. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. They're taking in consideration 2021 CR 9302. There's an affirmative finding of family violence and no contact with Lori Lori Carrillo. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No.
Defense?
No.
All right, any witnesses from the state?
No witnesses.
Defense, any witnesses?
No.
All right, then the court will hear argument. State?
Yes, Your Honor. As Your Honor knows, there was a choking that was taken into consideration for this plea. Additionally, I want to point out that in the PSI and his criminal history, there have been no less than 6 arrests for assaultive family violence cases. In the instant offense, he did punch the complainant in the face, knocking her to the ground, where he proceeded to stomp on her face, Your Honor. And then in the PSI, when they asked him what happened in the instant offense, he refers to it as an argument. Your Honor, given the number of arrests for family violence, given the increase in the violence, particularly as perpetuated against the complainant in this case, we would ask you that he be sentenced to the 3 years in TDC.
All right, defense?
Yes, Judge, as you have, I'm sure, reviewed the PSI, he has only of all of those arrests had one conviction for a family violence offense in 21, where he did 60 days. Further, there is a statement, somewhat of a statement from the complainant that she doesn't want him going to prison. She wants him to be on probation. She's happy with him being able to try to get the help that he needs for whatever anger issues he has. And of course, probation on the tap, recommended intensive outpatient treatment. I think that this is probably, a good case for him to show the court that at this point in his life, he's serious, and to put him on zero tolerance. And the minute he has one falter on this thing, be it not being even late for reporting or anything, he knows that he's looking at prison time.
All right. Anything you would like to say?
I just apologize for being here in front of you today. I just want to get back home and start back working. So
No, but why do you have anger issues?
I really don't.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else from anyone else?
No, you're right.
All right. This is what court will do. The court is going to find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Take in consideration 2021 CR 9302. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Lori Carrillo. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing from either side?
No, Judge.
No, Judge.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence and also a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? Yes. All right, we can go off the record. I want you to know I took into consideration everything that your attorney was saying. I've always read the PSI report and read the police reports. You're going to have to get a control of your anger issues. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in and out of prison and in and out of trouble, okay?
Can I say something?
Sure.
Even this assault charge was bogus, man. That's why it was a false name on the police report. It was just out of anger because I left from an argument. That's all it was. That's why I tried to explain to the PSI lady.
Okay. Well, I want you to know that I did read the police report, and the police report, she does have some injuries, okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes. Thank you for your patience, Ms. Kramer. I hope you feel better.
Thank you so much for letting me presuming into. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too.
Who's here on Griselda Rosales? All right. Mr. Bravenet, are you ready on this case?
Yes.
All right. So has an offer been tendered?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to set you for a plea deadline date. Ms. Ferguson, can you bring this back the first week in January or either the second week in January for a plea deadline date?
She stepped out.
All right, let me give you one.
I'm pulling up my calendar so that if you have mercy on me, I don't double set myself. All right, we'll bring you back on January 11th. Excellent, thank you. All right, that's going to be your plea deadline date. At that time, you'll need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. If you choose not to, we'll set you for a jury trial. You understand? Thank you. All right, this is set for January 11th for a plea deadline date. Yes. All right, who's here on Fabian Cardenas? Is this our last case? Could it be?
No.
It's not.
Who's she waiting on?
The fine last case today, this week, this year.
Today. All right. The court is calling 2023 CR 9773W, State of Texas versus Fabian Lee Cardenas. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Allie Jackson for the state.
Defense?
Sergio Ibarra for Mr. Cardenas.
All right. You entered a plea on October 26th to the offense of endangering a child. You pled guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility, and the state is opposing your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense? Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, ma'am.
All right. Any witnesses, state?
The state, no, Your Honor.
Defense?
We do have witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. If you'll call your first witness.
Okay, I'm going to call Mr. Menther Hernandez first, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You're gonna need to speak up so the court reporter can hear. All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Samantha Justine Hernandez.
All right. Are you able to hear her?
Samantha Justine Hernandez.
All right, defense. All right, so everyone else in the courtroom, I'm gonna need y'all to whisper. Defense.
You can speak higher, it's okay. So Samantha, how do you know Fabian Cardenas?
He's my baby dad.
And who is your child?
Jason Cardenas.
Okay. And how is Kaysen the child that was subject of this case that Fabian has pled on?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you live with Kaysen?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And are you his primary guardian?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And are you also primarily responsible for his health and well-being?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, in speaking about this particular case, have you had an opportunity? Well, please explain to the court, as far as this particular day goes, what happened as far as when you left Kaysen with Fabian? Where did you drop him off?
At his house. I dropped him at his house.
Okay. And like I said, if you can just be comfortable kind of speaking up a little bit, okay? And okay, thank you. Yeah.
No problem.
And at the time, he did live with his mother, is that right, Fabian?
Yes.
Okay. And how were you informed that Kaysen had gotten injured?
His sister contacted me.
And as far as you know, what did Fabian do as soon as he was aware that Kaysen had been injured?
We were just trying to make things.
And did he go with him to the hospital?
He did.
Okay. And had Fabian expressed anything to you in terms of how this entire incident, what it meant to him and how important it was to him?
It was just as devastated as me, and he was very concerned about me.
And regarding Kaysen, how is he doing now?
Jason's doing good.
What about his injuries, his physical injuries?
They're good. He's healed and everything.
Okay. Now, there was a pre-sentence investigation report that was done. I think you had done something of an interview with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that report, you had talked about the fact that he had some trauma, that he had been afraid when he sees guns, things like that. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, regarding that, how have you had a chance to kind of speak with Kaysen about this, figure out ways to help him? Okay. How do you think he's doing in regards to that?
He's doing good.
Okay. A little bit about Fabian and Kaysen's relationship. How would you describe that to the judge?
They have a good relationship. Jason loves that.
Okay. And how do you feel that Fabian feels about Kaysen?
He loves Jason.
And regarding your relationship with Fabian, do you all have a good relationship?
We do.
Okay. Now, there are one thing that I think is important to at least express to Judge Boyd here is what you feel, if anything, how this has affected Fabian going forward in life.
I feel like, you want to make some changes and be better.
And in that, what are some examples of ways that you know of, like as far as, does he have goals that you guys have discussed? Does he have anything like that?
Yes, he's trying to get his studio and.
And one of the questions that I think almost everybody wants to know about this type of situation is, if Judge Boyd decides to place him on probation, how do you believe he will approach probation?
I feel like he would do good because he would make sure he does everything that has to be.
Okay. Do you feel that he takes it seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you asking Judge Boyd to consider giving Fabian probation? Okay. I'll pass at this point, Your Honor.
State, any questions?
Questions. How old is Jason currently? He's 3. And were you aware that Fabian had previously been on deferred for an unlawful carrying of a weapon as a misdemeanor? Okay, and were you aware that when this incident happened, he was on felony probation? Were you aware that he had a gun in the house where you were dropping off Jason? You weren't aware? Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, any further questions?
Nothing further unless the court has questions, Judge.
No questions. Well, just one. How old was your son when this happened?
How old was he?
Yes.
2
Right, so he was 2 years old. And I think everybody's dancing around certain things, but he was shot with a gun. And is this the gun that he picked up, or is this the gun that somebody was playing with and he got shot? What happened?
He picked it up.
And to your knowledge, if you know, where was everybody else?
I'm not sure.
So how did a 2-year-old pick up a gun and shoot themselves? Because there had to have been supervision, right? So where were the other parties, if you know?
In housing, immersion.
All right. So has his father told you how a 2-year-old got a hold of a weapon to shoot himself? Do you know if anybody was smoking marijuana in the house during that time that your son was there? Has anybody informed you of that? Has his father talked to you about what they were doing in the house? So you don't know what was going on in the house. And throughout this entire time, you never asked about what was going on at the house when your 2-year-old was shot. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Any other witnesses?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to call Mr. Cardenas to.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, then nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Fabian Cardenas.
All right. Defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just to make sure that we're clear, you were placed on probation on a felony case, a felony evading case before this incident happened, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Do you remember when you were placed? How soon before?
A month.
About a couple of weeks, or longer than a month, or less than a month?
Less than a month.
Okay. Okay. When there were firearms in the house, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And regarding those firearms, did you do anything in order to get those firearms out of the house?
Yes. I tried to.
You can speak to Judge.
Yes, I tried to pay somewhere else while I was on probation, but there were guns. So they were all clean. Anyone I tried to like give them to, like, it's kind of a hard for someone like take guns for you, if that makes sense. Like I try to give them to like one of my uncles or something. Like, if you could hold these till I'm on probation, and that's just not something someone would like take like that. So I really had nowhere to place them at the time.
Because of that, though, you know, you're aware, and Judge Boyd is aware that sometimes you would have Kason over at your mom's house, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just to describe for Judge Boyd, what was the living situation like?
I stayed in a back house at my mom's house, and I'll get casing like on the weekends or whenever my child's mother worked or I was working or something, or like I'll watch him and stuff.
Okay, so your mother's house is, you were living in the detached living area from the main house?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you the only person living in that detached house?
Yes.
Okay. Now, because you could not get rid of those, were you aware that that's something that you could have called either myself or even the court about help with? Were you aware at the time?
At the time, no, but now I fully understand. Like I really could have got help from you, from anyone. It's just I didn't think that I could like call on anyone to be like, hey, where could I place these guns, or like at the time. But now like I'm fully aware.
Okay. And since that time, have you continued to check in with probation since everything's happened?
Yes, yes.
Okay. When Kason was shot, as far as the first time that you were made aware, where were you?
I was right there around him. I was in the kitchen.
Okay. And the shooting took place in the back room or in the back of the house? Where did it take place that you recall?
In the back house. It's like a studio.
Okay. And regarding where the guns were placed, or that gun was placed, where did you place it?
It was I remember we woke up. I had it under the mattress. It was under the mattress, and yeah, that's what it was.
Why did you put it there?
I had it there because I didn't think he'll go inside the mattress and stuff. I was on the phone, turned around for like less than a couple seconds, and then I hear it.
Now, you said a couple of seconds. What did this situation teach you about the importance of gun safety, what children can get into? Please describe to Judge Boyd that.
It didn't really just teach me, it also like changed my whole life. I look at it all a lot more different, but it teach me for sure gun safety. Not that I'm even gonna be around guns, but how none of that mixes up.
When you found out that he had been shot, what did you do next?
I grabbed him immediately. I started putting pressure on where it grazed him, and I told my sister to call the police, and then I went with him in the ambulance, and I went to the hospital.
Was it just you and him, aside from the emergency personnel? Was it just you and him in the ambulance?
Yes.
Okay. And when you got to the hospital, did you go anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Eventually, law enforcement showed up there. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And did you cooperate with them?
I think at the time I was so much stuff was going on. I was just worried about my son. I think I declined. No. I talked to him, but I really, yeah, I was really.
Did you end up explaining to them the situation there at the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. You had just been placed on probation for the evading case, and then this occurs. Now we're asking Judge Boyd to consider placing you on supervision. That way you can do the things that she requires you to do. Now, after this had all happened, I know it's just been a little while, but what do you have to say to Judge Boyd about how you will do under her requirements of you should she place you on probation?
Basically, it's been like more harder on me, like knowing that was the last memory I had with my son. That's probably the last memory he had with me so far, since I had like a no contact order. Been on house arrest ever since. And I just wanna
When you say it's hard on you, what's hard on you?
knowing like the last memory I had with his last memory with me was like I'm just worried about him. The last memory he had with me is that. Other than like from that incident, I haven't even got to call him and see how. I know he always like asks for me and stuff. I know, but still.
How does that make you feel?
Heartbroken.
How do you feel about your son?
I love him to death.
But you know that your inability to, that the fact that you didn't ask for help when maybe you could have, as you talked about, like now you know that you can reach out to other people or try to get the court to help you or whatever, but you know that, and you talked about this in your pre-sentence investigation, but because you didn't ask for that help to get that done, he was injured. You're aware of that, right?
Yes. Take full responsibility.
And how important is that to you?
Very important. I take full responsibility because that was a mistake on my end and it caused a big accident. I was just pay attention more.
You had a rough childhood growing up, right?
Yes.
Now that's discussed in the pre-sentence investigation, but having lived that way, what kind of relationship and what kind of parent do you want to be to your son?
The opposite of what I had. I want to be there for him, and I just want to. I made mistakes in the past, but I just want to not like try to guide him the best way I can, other than what I grew up in.
Do you provide guidance to any other people in your family?
Yes.
Who?
My little brothers and sisters.
What parental figures do they have?
None, really, just me and my mom.
And where's your mom currently?
Right now, she's at home, but she's a single mother, so it's just her and my brothers and sisters. I help her a lot. Sisters. I'm the only father figure.
And has she had issues with the law, things like that?
Yes.
One moment, Your Honor, sorry.
Sure, no problem.
Is there anything else you want to say to Judge Boyd?
Yes. I just want to ask if you could strongly consider giving me probation. I'm trying to go down the right track. I actually like trying to switch my life around. Like I made mistakes, but I don't think that should like define who I am, the type of person that I am.
Well, when you say something like that, though, because that can come off the wrong way. And you and I have talked about your life and things like that. Talk to the judge about the goals that you have. What do you want to actually do to do better?
Yeah, actually I was before I got on the monitor, I actually missed my appointment like the first week. I was getting my driver's license. I finished all my courses and stuff. I was getting my driver's license, and I just was planning on finishing that. And
what kind of license?
My driver's license. Then right, I was gonna enroll in a CDL school to get my CDL license, and that's what I was planning on doing. For the meantime, I was working, but I'm gonna just be working for the meantime, and then while I'm getting my CDL license, right after I get my license, and then I just plan on doing better for my family, trying to be a better role model, change my life around, not being in the system and setting the bad example for my brothers and sisters, my son, my family, because I'm really like a role model.
State?
Just a few questions. Mr. Cardenas, how old are you?
21.
You're 21, and how long have you owned firearms?
Probably since 2019.
Okay, so for a few years. Have you ever taken any gun safety course or anything like that?
Nah, I just go to the range.
Okay. But do you have kind of a basic understanding that guns should normally be stored away from where children can get to them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You know, and knowing that you weren't supposed to have them because you were on probation, did it ever occur to you, and knowing that you have a 2-year-old who would come and spend weekends, did it ever occur to you to get even just like a gun safety, like a gun lockbox or anything like that?
Yes, ma'am. I had two in the closet, usually where I have them. Then I have one next to me in case like someone tries to break in. So I have that under my mattress. And then, like I said, we just woke up, and then my son was gonna go under the mattress. It was a mistake. Yes.
Okay, but you did have gun lock boxes.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't, but you
No, I
had in
didn't.
the past.
No, I never really got.
Okay. Did it, and I know you had already said that it didn't occur to you that you could, call, your lawyer or anything, but did it ever occur to you just to contact a seller to like get rid of your guns entirely while you were on probation, or were you just more focused on having access, being able to get back to them?
Basically, that's what I was thinking. I was like, when I'm done with this probation, because I wanted to get them back, so I just needed someone to hold them for the meantime. Like I said, I just got on probation, and going up to like not going up to a random person, but going up to your like
and slow down just a little bit, please.
like asking like a family or like anyone like, hey, could you hold these guns? Just kind of like random. So, and that's kind of like not a favor someone's like willing to just do for anyone.
And one more question. So, I mean, just because we've kind of skirted around, we know that Kason got shot. Where exactly was he injured?
He got grazed on his cheek and his ear.
How did you feel knowing that it very nearly could have been his death?
It devastated me. I'm just thankful that it could have ended up a lot worse.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Right. Any other questions?
Nothing.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So, where you kept the gun on the mattress, what size mattress is that? King, queen, twin? What is it?
Right before a queen.
All right, full?
Full.
All right, so you're saying you kept the gun underneath the mattress?
It's like not the mattress, it's like a foam thing.
Oh, so you kept it underneath the foam and not the mattress between the mattress. Do you have a box spring?
It's a big thick foam, and then there's a mattress. It was like a fold out couch.
Okay.
And then it had like a thin mattress, and then I had the thick foam memory foam.
All right, so why was a 38 in the refrigerator on the second shelf?
That's because at the time I had that in the closet, and then
But why is it being kept in the refrigerator on the second shelf?
I just threw it in there when the cops were coming.
All right, so you were trying to hide it?
Basically.
Well, I mean, it's not basically, it's either you
ma'am.
were trying to
Yes,
hide it or
ma'am.
not. So you put that on the second shelf of refrigerator after your son was shot.
Oh, yes.
All right. And your siblings in the house, what are their ages?
They're in the front house.
Nope. And so the gun that you put in the refrigerator was another gun,
Yes, ma'am.
and that was in the back house where you were living.
Yes, ma'am.
So how many guns did you have in your home in the back?
30 total.
3 total. All right. So you have one gun that you say is being kept underneath the mattress. Is that the Micro Draco firearm?
No, that was the one that was under the mattress was a Glock 23.
All right. That's a Glock 23. I'm assuming no safety.
Yes, no safety.
All right. And then you have the one gun that's in the refrigerator on the second shelf.
Yes,
Where was the other gun, the third one?
in my closet.
No. Where in your closet?
It should have been like behind all my shoes and clothes.
All right. The TAP evaluation says that you've only smoked marijuana once in your lifetime, correct?
Yes.
Who did you have coming over to your house? Any other people? Just you and your son?
Yeah, just me and my son.
All right, so who's smoking marijuana in that back house? You or your son?
No one.
Well, this is what the police says. Police says, I entered the real location. That's where you stay, right?
Yes.
And began to search the location for further evidence. I immediately smelled the odor of marijuana. I knew the odor to be that of marijuana due to my training and experience. They said they were not able to locate marijuana in the residence. So you're saying there was no marijuana? Nobody ever smoked marijuana?
No.
All right. And if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
I pass it. I never had a problem with drugs. I don't do no drugs.
Mhm. All right, any other questions?
Nothing further.
No, you're not.
All right. So I'll take a drug test
Yes, ma'am.
and then I'll make my decision.
Understood. Yes, ma'am. Just return when it's done. Judge?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I have to, just, all due respect, Your Honor, I have to step out 1 second. I'm also in another.
Sure, no problem. Do you need any water?
I got a water bottle in my backpack.
Do you need any?
Yeah, please.
Okay. And who is the client? Who's your attorney? All right, where's Mr. Steinberg? Okay. All right, have you had contact with your attorney? Have you ever had contact with your attorney? All right, when's the last time you had contact with your attorney? Last year in July? I'm talking, your attorney is Joe Stenberg. All right, okay, thank you. Just one moment, all right, we're gonna figure something out. Just give me a moment, okay? Can you mute us?
Yeah, he was disappointed in October.
All right, can you mute us?
All right. So, Mr. Cardenas,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
understand that you probably have regrets because your child could have been killed. But you're on deferred adjudication out of this court for evading. And I know that in your conditions of probation, because everybody who's on felony probation, you're not allowed to have guns,
Yes, ma'am.
period. So, and cause number 2023 CR 9773W, the court is not going to grant your application. The court will find you guilty, sentence you to 18 months in the state jail facility. This is run concurrent with cause number 2022 CR 11171. And there should be no in-person contact with Case and Cardenas while in custody. So he can do phone calls. I'm sure she'll have phone calls or that type of situation. And I want to tell you, the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't think children should get used to seeing their parents in custody or seeing people they love in custody, because then they think it's normal activity to visit people in custody. But I don't want your contact with him to be severed. That's why there can always be phone calls. I know at the prison they do video calls as well. And then in cause number 2021 CR 11171, the court did take into consideration the fact that you tested negative. The range of punishment in that case for you is up to 10 years in the prison. But what I'm going to do is as previously stated, I found violation of condition number 1 true. I'm going to sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and this will run concurrent with 2023 CR 9773W. And each cause number, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review those with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And cause number 2022 CR 11171. This is not a plea bargain case. You do have the right to appeal, but that as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you're on deferred adjudication. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because that's felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And then in cause number 2023 CR 9773W, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that one with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because that is a plea bargain agreement, because I have followed your plea bargain agreement and actually giving you something less than you bargained for, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because it's a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. I want you to know I always listen to everything that's given to me. I always try to internalize everything. Your attorney did do a good argument for you and put on good testimony for you. But part of your problem is you're on deferred and you know you're not supposed to have any weapons at all. And it would have been easy to have those weapons, take them to a pawn shop, take them wherever. People take weapons to pawn shops all the time. The only caveat to taking a weapon to a pawn shop, which I've never done, but my understanding is you have to be able to show that that's your gun. And that pawn shop has to be a dealer or have their right certification for that. So it's pretty easy to do. But there is definitely no way you should be having a gun underneath a mattress. And then you have your son that's just been shot and you're thinking of hiding a gun in a refrigerator. That's not good.
Right.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Happy
You're welcome.
holidays.
You too.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate your time.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here's what's happening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and Norma, the last one we have, this is the last person on the docket? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, it's like, it's just worth that. I would say now we're
Norma,
Yeah.
I missed the other luncheon I was supposed to go to,
Reached out our luncheon.
the Saba Member Center on Nueva. So I'm going to have to email them and apologize. Hello.
Although, when I get your signature on this amendment.
Are they for this court? Am I the only court who's here?
Have the disadvantage of being on my floor, and yes, you are here.
Okay.
Next year, and then, you know, it's reading something.
There you go. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, I forgot to give you this one. Okay. Have a good one.
I was to say, just. I know, right? Just that now, so what we started out.
Yes.
And go as far as I could, and if it was just this, just literally this, that's all I did, all I did was like, just like a little, it's like, oh, and then I'm actually. I'm sorry, I don't know. I was going to speak.
Yeah.
Michael. Let's start with that. Yeah. Thank you. I know I have some.
Sure. All right, no problem. Ooh. Bye. See you all on Monday.
Yes.
Yeah, they both don't need, and they said Zach will probably don't need, but he's on vacation. No. Were you able to get hold of Maria?
Maria?
Oh, she's coming to time.
Stairs, I did jog a little bit. Now with that, it's happened to me earlier since. Like I probably nothing.
Something else. Don't worry about when I'm here.
Along the way to ice that is. Yes.
I know where that's from. You and I are in the same houses.
All right, you all ready?
Judge, do you have the Garcia file?
Oh, oh, I do. So are y'all ready?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, the court is going to call 2022 CR 8756, State of Texas versus Roseanne Garcia. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
for the defense?
Sergio Ibarra for defense. Your Honor.
And are you Miss Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Garcia, I just have a few questions to ask of you on the record because there's been an attorney that has been appointed to represent you. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Roseanne Garcia.
All right, there was a previous attorney appointed to represent you. Have you had any contact with that attorney?
No, ma'am.
All right. And an attorney has been appointed to represent you today. Have you had time to speak with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And do you wish to continue with this hearing with this attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to put on the record?
Oh, and nothing, Your Honor. We do waive the 10-day preparation on this one, but aside from that, she seems to understand everything in going forward.
All right, Ms. Garcia, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Roseanne Garcia who's placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 8756 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 less than 1 gram, on March 20th, 2023 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
That is correct.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 1, on or about the 3rd day of August 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Roseanne Garcia, committed the offense of criminal trespass in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And Your Honor, we waive the other violation alleged in the motion.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor. We're asking that you deny the motion, continue the defendant on probation. We're asking that you follow the recommendation of probation, which is the state ISF, the cognitive track, and the state is going to TIC cause number CC 714152, which is the criminal trespass, which is the new number 1 in the motion, Judge.
All right. Is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor. We do ask the court respectfully follow the agreement in this matter. I do think that there will be some significant benefit for Ms. Garcia and by being able to have access to the personnel of the cognitive track.
All right. Ms. Garcia, are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
That is correct.
All right. Do you have a place to stay?
Yes, I do.
All right. Who do you live with, or do you live by yourself?
I do live by myself.
And are you employed?
At this night, no.
So how are you supporting yourself before you were taken into custody?
Due to the fact that I was actually getting food stamps and so forth, and I was actually trying to go to Haven for Hope as well to get the services done.
Okay. All right. So we'll do state ISF cognitive track. Of course, I'm denying the motion and taking in consideration 714152. And probation, I don't know, we're off the record. Will Camino work with her, or they only work with people who are not on probation? That community court thing that they have now. Well, counsel, if you look with the community court, they may not be able to accept her, but they may have some resources that are available for
Yes,
her.
ma'am, I will. That's a good idea. I didn't consider that. Could be helpful on the basis as well.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else you need?
No, thank you.
All right. Good luck to you. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. White.
You're welcome. All right.